Fhrai convention explores the growing influence of big fat weddings on India's hospitality industry.
What's the plan of the department, ma'am, through this Wed in India campaign to attract all these three critical segments?
Just like we are looking at the market for the FTAs, for inbound tourists, we should also look at countries which are culturally compatible with us. Also because the Chalo India campaign, which was announced this year on the 7th of March by the Honorable Prime Minister, is actually focused on the diaspora. And we know that a large chunk of the people who come to India to do weddings, the big fat weddings, if I can say, comes and does some rituals here for the extended family, whether it is South Indian rituals, whether it is North Indian rituals. And I think we must target those people and ensure that we can look at direct flight connectivities, map where they want to get wedded, and then see that those places from they want to come have direct flights. We should look at the air service agreement. We are doing meetings for that. We should also look at how we can ease and expedite the visas.
With weddings becoming such an important part of the sales and marketing mix, you are a commercial director at Taj for this region. How is ISCL standing out in this?
We are trying to cater to this entire plethora of different experience seekers across the country. And with our expansion into new destinations, we're also creating reasons for people to now not venture out from their hometowns, but to find something within their home places.
There's a mix between old money and new money. Old money has their children getting married, new money has their children getting married. There's a certain behavior to that, okay, which is that old money always stays private and discreet, right? New money seeks attention. They're the ones who want to come back to us and say, get me a destination which is happening. Get me those Instagram hits that you were talking about. Get me that DJ, get me that artist, get me that caterer. I want to be seen. My wedding should be out there. So I think that's the first bit that we try and figure out. What's the psychology of the family?
What's going on in Gen Z's mind, millennials' mind, I mean, especially Gen Z's? How do you think, what are the new trends? What exactly is going in their mind? What do they want out of the celebrations?
For most of the Gen Z brides, I feel the favorites is still palaces, beaches and mountains. Sometimes they also look at practicality, like on the number of rooms, how close is it to the airport, what's the accessibility from their hometowns.
We only talk about 53 auspicious days. I disagree to that. We did 100 plus weddings, right? Because within Indian Hindu community, there are Punjabis to South Indians to all the Sikh community does on Sundays. So actually, I don't say there is every day is auspicious days for celebration, right? It's how you want to put the mindset as. We have a lot of Marwadi community beyond Calcutta, right? And we start filling in and filling in. But we were very clear.
In the internet today, there is so much of wrong data about marriages. It pegs the Indian market to 130 billion, whereas we think it is 57.2 billion. We must also work on, through the information asymmetry, we should also work on building a serious data. While domestic weddings can get us currency, money, balance sheet, profit, but doing a few weddings like the Lake Como wedding can beget us lot of goodwill for India as a destination for Wed in India.
How important is this partnership between the wedding planner and the hotelier? And how does it benefit the client?
Doing weddings, and especially destination weddings, it's like doing the recipe of a cake, right? The temperature need to be right, the ingredients need to be right, the cooking method need to be right, and the skills should be there. And that's what we all bring it together in partnership.
Come the season, come the sayas, some of the hotel rates become so far beyond. Yeah, and that's especially happening in India. And that's something which we need to really talk about.
This is a round-the-year business, maybe 1 or 2 months of silence, but pretty much 8-9 months of business. Let's spread it nicely. Let's also reach out to the markets or reach out to the communities which also do not have to wait for November or February to have a wedding done or December to have a wedding done. But everything cannot happen in November, December, January, February. If it's so, then it's natural that we are human beings and will be greedy, right?
Is there an idea of green wedding, which is a possibility?
As an industry, and some of us have actually woken up now and taken vows. There are no plastic bottles, there are none of that. We don't allow our caterers to bring in stuff like that. But that's only not even the tip of the iceberg. Every Indian wedding has 450 tons of wet waste per function that comes out of that. What do you do with segregation? How much are you contributing to landfills? And these are things that, as an industry, we are all waking up to.
We have to ensure that our processes, our design, our conception becomes sustainable, and we move towards maybe carpooling instead of, So I think the adambar, the grandeur will need to be controlled if we have to be sustainable. But today, because we are talking of big fat wedding, it's a little, oxymoronic to say in a big fat wedding you can do sustainability.
Which is such a diverse palette coming from all families. How do you think the hotel industry is coping up with it? How do you think, are the hotels really geared up to give a great food story in the Indian wedding?
The first thing that every hotel needs to understand is when you're hosting an Indian wedding, there is a huge emotional quotient that goes with it. Firstly, when the hotel gets that sentiment right, then they are going to lay out the entire red carpet for that client, right? If you're going to look at it like a conference where there is 2 veg, 2 non-veg, 3 starters, that doesn't work, And some hotels, are geared for this. They understand the sentiment and they will make sure there is no stone unturned in terms of the menu. And the hotels that can't keep up to it, then will have pressure from the clients to top this menu with an outside caterer. So I always feel that what a hotel can do, if they achieve it, why do you need an outside caterer to come in and do the same, right? So food is very, very, very important.
You are watching Travel World Online.